preachers that had won a chief to the Lord on another island off of ours. And they said, hey, we've discovered some lost tribes. You understand, when they say lost tribes, they mean lost tribes. These people don't know what civilization is. They don't know what clothes are. They don't know the name of their country. They don't know what an airplane is. Brother Brandenburg's been to Papua New Guinea multiple times. There's still a few of them left, and they had found one. The preacher said, preacher, will you go with us to preach to them? I thought, man, they said, now it's going to be a several-day hike, and it's going to be hard. And I was young. I thought, man, I can do this. And what a prayer letter. Amen. I'm just being honest with you. I said, sure, I'll go. So we got on a little old tiny plane, landed on a little grass strip that shouldn't have been able to be landed on right there by the ocean. They're pulling that prop to get it started. They don't want to start, and you're fixing to get on that thing and trust your neck with it. And so finally we land, and then we had about a 10-hour walk and ride, if we could find it, to the village, and finally got to the village, and the chief was there, and the people were there, and they said, while you're here, before you leave, how about taking a day and preaching to us? And literally 4 hours preaching. That if you didn't preach that long, they didn't think you'd done anything, and they didn't have nothing else to do except pick their hair and grab bugs off the ground and eat it while you preached. Amen. And so I preached, and then finally they said, okay, we're going to go on into this tribe. And so we got up, and I had my backpack, and I don't know, it's probably 50, 60 pounds, and I had water, I had pills to fix the water, I had cans of meat, and I had a nice pup tent, and I had a rolled pad to rest on, and because they just climb up in the tree and sleep, or sleep on the ground, and I ain't made that way. And they said, that's heavy, preacher. I said, oh, I'll be all right. Papua New Guinea's nothing but mountains stuck in tropical 130-degree weather, and we started, and there was no path. We were making paths. They were making them with bush knives, and after several hours, I said, hey, guys, y'all hungry? Take some of these cans of meat. And then before long, I said, some of this water's got to go. And then I said, hey, one of y'all wouldn't mind carry that pad. And I started lightening that load. It wasn't about 8-10 hours in. That thing was real light. And so that next morning, we made it to a village, but it wasn't the one we were going to, but it was another one that we didn't know was there. No one did. And we walked in, and they ran. I mean, Papua New Guineans are shorter people, and here I am, a tall white guy, and scared them to death, and scared me to death, and no clothes, and no civilization. No, they didn't talk the language, and so finally, after they finally got brave enough to come in, and we got to talking to the chief after about 4 different translations, long and short. He said, hey, before you go to that village, we know of them, we've heard of them, but we don't know them. But there's villages all around here. Would you stay, and would you preach to us this Jesus? He said, I don't know who he is. But he said, I can't tell you how many, this is the chief talking. He said, I can't tell you how many times I've looked up there and said that my little old wood crocodile God couldn't have made that. I made him. He couldn't have made that if I made him. He had enough sense to know that. He said, I've been saying, if there's someone bigger up there, would you send someone to tell us about him? And God sent a 6'5" lanky fellow from West Virginia to tell him about Jesus. I got excited. Whole time I'm thinking, man, what a prayer letter. This is going to be great. A little pride seeped in, but I was excited to tell people about Jesus. He said, we're going to send runners out to all the villages. We're going to feed you lunch. We had slept for several hours, and I said, okay, I'm going to set my tent up, and I'm going to rest. And I did a few minutes. They said, we got lunch ready. Now understand, there ain't no restaurants. It's roots, it's leaves, it's bugs, it's stems. And they did stews, and it was coconut. I said, it wasn't even near a water source that close. And so if they used open green coconuts and used the milk out of them. And so they fixed a stew, and I knew if I crunched anything, it would be spiders that they put on rocks and cooked enough to throw in the soup. And sure enough, I'm crunching. And I'm thinking, dear God, don't let it kill me. Dear God, please don't let this kill me. You pray over your food in a place like that, bless God, I promise you. So I got done, and they said, we sent runners tonight. We're going to meet. I said, well, I'm going to rest. I'm tired. Y'all wore me out. I went and laid down, and the longer I laid, everything started aching. Head started splitting. I started puking my guts out. I could tell I had a fever. I thought, oh, no, I've eaten a poisonous spider. I'm going to die out here in the middle of nowhere. They're going to eat me. I'm in trouble. And they don't eat people for the sake of eating. That's a false rumor in Papua New Guinea. With New Guinea, there was some truth to it. If they ate someone, it was more of a sign of disrespect to show you how bad they didn't like you. But anyway, I'm thinking they ain't going to like me, and I'm in trouble. I'm going to be someone's supper, sure as the world. And there's a lot of me. They're going to have a buffet. You just have to be in the position to know what I'm talking about. Now, I got so bad I could barely hold my head up. My preacher boys got concerned and said, "Missionary, we got to get you out of here now." I said, "I think I'm going to die." They said, "We got to get you out of here." And it's getting to dark. I'll be honest with you, Brother Tharp. I'm talking about grace. I ain't lost sight of what I'm talking about. In my heart, I got angry with God. I said, "God, you brought me here. These people have asked. They've prayed for someone to come. We've got the truth. And now you're making me leave? God, this ain't fair. You could heal me." And I prayed and said, "God, heal me. God, heal me." I'd have my preachers pray over me, put hands on me. I said, "Y'all find some coconut, get the oil out of that, pour it on me. I don't care, but we need God to do something." We prayed. Nothing happened. And inside, I'm going to be honest with you, I got angry. Angry. And as we were walking out, I could barely walk. They was on each side of me, dragging me. We went out a different place than we went in, and we got out. And after about an hour or so of being out of the village, and inside, I never said a word to the preacher boys, but inside, Brother Willis, I was upset with God. God, you could have healed me. You could have kept this from happening. They're going to go to hell. And I could have gave them the truth. We got about an hour out, and every symptom I had left. Gone. It was so startling, I just stopped. And I said, "Hey," and I talked to the preachers. I said, "Man, it's all gone. I'm fine." They said, "Well, you want to go back?" I said, "No, in case this comes back, we better go on back to the village. Maybe we can come back. I don't know." But I said, "I'm really disappointed." And we trekked all that night. We didn't stop. I said, while I've got strength and y'all ain't having to drag me, let's go and keep walking. We walked all night. Somewhere around 5:30 in the morning, the chief from the village, he had not gone with us, the village that we had started out from, ran. We were still hours from it, but he had ran all night to meet us. And he got to us and he just grabbed me, and he's squalling and screaming at the top of his lungs and just hugging my neck. And I didn't understand his language. And when they finally translated to where I could understand, here's the story. He said, "Missionary, we thought you was dead. We thought all of y'all were dead." I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "That village, when you went in, the medicine men didn't like that you were bringing another God to the people. And they sent out messengers to all the other medicine men to grab warriors and to surround that village secretly. And at nighttime, they had one purpose. They were going to come in and they were going to cut your head off and kill you, and then the others if they could, but you were their number one objective." And they said, "Preacher, we didn't think you'd make it." And they said, "Someone from the village ran full speed to find someone to try to get help, or other villages to come and protect me." And he said, "We knew we could never make it in time." He said, "I was running back to the village, thought for sure you'd be dead." My preacher boys started shouting and praising God. And Brother Brandenburg, I had to bow my head. And I said, "God, I'm so sorry. All you were doing was trying to protect this fool from dying. 30 minutes before it gets dark, you get me out of there." And they got me out of the one way they couldn't surround, because the women went out to wash. And so they didn't surround there in case they got seen. We got out the one place we could have got out. You think that's accidental? And here I am, angry inside, Brother Sears, upset. And the whole time, God was showing grace to me. You better hear me tonight. You may be here tonight, and you may be thinking your circumstances is the most awful thing you've ever seen. But I'm telling you, as I studied the Bible today, many times God showed grace. It didn't look like grace. Sometimes it looked like a coffin. Sometimes it looked like a mark that was negative. Sometimes it looked like a donkey that's throwing you in the side of a wall. Sometimes it looked like hanging on a cross. But can I tell you, in every one of them instances, it was the marvelous, wonderful, mighty grace of a God that was protecting them. And I want to say, thank God, in spite of how it may look. If you're saved tonight, God is showing grace to your life and to mine. I'm talking about the typology of grace. And then let me hurry and close. I want you to know